Katseye is not a K-pop group. Look, I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off, but it's okay. I understand the whole concept behind them being tied in with K-pop because they're signed to a K-pop label and technically they've gone through K-pop level training. But they're not a K-pop group. They don't sing in Korean. They're a girl group, a global girl group, which they do say that in their series, Dream Academy, over and over and over again, which I can't front. Like, it's a pretty cool series, and we watched the behind the scenes one this week, which was the Pop Stars Academy, which is on Netflix. Is they have these contracts where if you get to a certain point in time on the show, it's an exclusive contract to the particular record label that is over it. Hey, listen, interesting week in music. Let's go ahead and get straight to it with regards to this type of news right here. So if you don't know who Katseye is, this is Katseye. They're a 6-member girl group. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. This group was put together with a documentary series essentially called Dream Academy. And it was actually a survival show, not a documentary series. I take my that. There's two things. There's a survival show, which was Dream Academy, and then there was a documentary behind the scenes for Dream Academy called Pop Star Academy. I believe that's what it was called. It was on Netflix, right? So I watched Pop Star Academy recently, and I had seen it pop up, but I just kind of ignored it, right? Because I had heard of this group, but I really wasn't like checking for it or anything like that. But with this whole K-pop Demon Hunters thing, I wanted to see what was going on with it. And since it insisted on making me watch this, I decided I'll go ahead and watch this thing and check it out. Now, what I found interesting about this was the behind the scenes to the labels that a lot of people don't necessarily get to see. I see it, I know, because I was in the music industry pretty heavy for at least 15 years. And I've had plenty of conversations about things that most people will never really even know about the music industry. I've discussed some of that on this channel, so go check out some of the older videos, especially the one about why you'll never make it in the music industry, the truth behind it. Not to say that you can't make it, but the chances are crazy, and there's a whole story about it, so go ahead and watch the video. But as far as this particular story here, this was a genius strategy that they did. They took one effort, one project, which was the Dream Academy effort, and they figured out a way to make a girl group out of it, debuted them, set them up, and now they're pivoting and they're going to make another girl group out of this. Yes, some of the girls who got close but did not make the show, they're actually going to be in their own girl group. And I thought that that was a master stroke when it comes to taking advantage of what we call in the industry mindshare. So I'm going to show you the girls who didn't make it and the girls that did make it. So just in case I didn't show you guys before, this is the picture from the Netflix show. And these are the 6 girls that made it into Katseye, the group that has the Gap commercials and all those things like that right now, which is, they're blowing up. They're blowing up. A lot of people like their songs. Their songs, they're not in Korean at all. They're all English songs. They all speak English. And they've got a good mixture of attitudes and diversity in it. It's a really good mashup of a girl group for a global brand. You got a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. Like, this is a really beautiful masterstroke when it comes to constructing a brand, right? And that's really what this is all about. Music is really about branding. And that's why I said the mind share that they did when they did the show, they captured a lot of people's emotions. Think of it like this. When you watched American Idol, right, and you saw certain contestants that were able to do really well, but they didn't win. For example, the year when Fantasia didn't win. Well, no, wait, Fantasia won. Fantasia won, but I think Jennifer Hudson was in that series too that particular year, right? And a few other people. You can have stars that have captivating talents and captivating storylines in your TV shows, and you can roll those into legit products when it comes to music or something else like that. Because music is a lot about feeling. A lot of people, a lot of fans, because they had fan voting on the show, Dream Academy show, they were really invested in voting and making sure that their favorite made it to the next round, okay? So when their favorite didn't make it, a lot of people were upset. They were mad, right? This girl right here did not make it. Her name is Emily. She's from the US. And where's the other girl? This girl right here named Samara. She didn't make it. She's from Brazil. There was another girl that didn't make it either, and let me find her picture real quick. Her name is Lexie, and she is right here, right? She quit because this was twisted. They didn't tell the girls that they were actually a part of a survival show. Those girls thought that they were actually just trainees to be in a competition for a K-pop group, but not like a survival show where people actually voted you out. Because that was really interesting watching the emotional aspect of this. And to be honest, it's kind of twisted and it's really effed up. It's really jacked up. It's not cool at all. But Lexie was the only one that we saw that quit on the camera, and it was an interesting story that went down. So you've got Lexie here, you've got Emily here, and you've got Samara here. These girls were ranking high in the voting, and these two girls just barely missed the mark to make the final group. You do see some of the other things behind the scenes when it comes to what potential contracts may have already been signed. There's some words that are said that seem to be kind of code words, like "I knew I was gonna make the group" type of a thing. Why would you send people to go assist somebody in a skill set, but you're not doing that for other people? I mean, clearly they know what they're trying to accomplish when it comes to their specific groups. But one of the episodes, the head of HYBE actually said something really interesting. What they did every week was they were putting these girls in different types of competitions where they would have, like, these girls would be in this group, these girls would be in this group. And truthfully, what they were doing was they were trying to figure out how they wanted this group to look, how they wanted the feel of the group to look. And they knew the personalities. Some girls were a little bit taller, some girls were a little bit shorter. So they tried. And then one week they did this wannabe, Spice Girls wannabe cover, right? With that cover, this guy right here, Bang, he actually was like, yo, I really like this group, right? They were fun to watch. They were really captivating. When I literally was watching this a month ago, I was like, yo, well, that looks like that could be a group. It was the Samara girl, it was Emily, and two other girls that are not necessarily a part of this new group. But what was interesting about it was I realized, man, he's already emotionally attached to this, right? But he also sees something. When somebody in that position sees something, because these projects are pretty big, right? The primary objective of that project was to create a 6-member girl band group, which they did. They went back and they looked at what they had and what they have, and they said, you know what? We're going to take from that talent pool and from that mind share, and we are going to take these girls and we're going to make a separate group out of it, and we're going to hold auditions in Japan to find the final member. And the reason why they're doing another series essentially from this is to amp up that anticipation for who the final member is. I have no doubts that they probably already know at least one of the two girls that are probably going to end up being in competition for the end. I think they already know. They're not going to just do something and then just pick from a selection of girls or a selection of candidates that they don't believe could actually fit the bill. They probably got 2 or 3 that they know would be a good fit for this particular group. So I'll show you what the rollout for this is looking like for this Prelude group, because it's really interesting how they're actually doing this, and they set this up with the anticipation for the crowd. If I can find the photo for Prelude. This girl right here is the Emily girl, this is the Samara girl, and this is Lexie. They're going to have another member that's going to be a part of that Japanese talent search, essentially. And this is interesting because it's a Korean and a U.S. label that's partnering with a Japanese media group to fulfill a group that has no Korean girls in it. So they're not even trying to be K-pop, truthfully. They got a bigger picture in mind with this one. And when I looked at the selection for this particular group, I see the vision. I see where they're trying to go with this. They're going for a very sweet, innocent, soft, but potentially crazy dance moves, because that girl can dance really well. Emily's a great dancer, and really good vocals. So I do have an assumption that they're going to probably go with, typically there's like a rapper or a more edgy type of member. So they'll probably go with somebody who can sing and an alto, but can also probably rap stuff because that's typically the formula, right? You got to have the kind of bad girl or the naughty girl or the bad boy or the naughty boy or whatever. That's just kind of how that rolls. So this is going to be interesting how this rolls out. But I do want to get your feedback as to who you guys think should actually be in this group and make this happen. And it's interesting because this is going to be a 4-member group instead of a 6-member group like Katseye was. And also, how do you think this is going to be? When they released this particular promo, the actual sound for this was really interesting because it was very R&B sounding. Like, it sounded really good. So, and you can kind of tell because of this is like a legit pull from the actual ad campaign that they just dropped. So, artists, if you're looking to create buzz, this is how you create buzz. You drop little snippets and you get people hooked. That definitely works. And that's how the industry works. It's just a rollout campaign. Like I said, they probably already know who they're actually going to go with. I'm going to close this out with this. It's a question, right? Do you think this group has more potential to be a global girl group versus Katseye? Because I'll be honest with you, Katseye is kind of blowing up like crazy right now. Like, not even kind of. Katseye is blowing up like crazy. When they dropped that Gap commercial, and they were like all over my timeline when it came on Instagram or whatever, and people were replying to this. They were responding to this ad primarily because of what the group looked like, right? It's a cool thing to see the diversity of the group. It's also cool to see them kind of like push things and really kind of be like the new wave of girl groups across the world. Because when I think about like a diverse group, the first group that kind of comes to mind for me is going to be like the Spice Girls. It's going to be something along that line, right? Spice Girls technically really wasn't that diverse. They only really had one black member, but they all had very distinct looking looks, right? Some of the US bands, especially like the urban based bands, they kind of want to have a same visual look, right? But then like they'll have like, the lead singer is the lead singer, right? And that's primarily the main singer and stuff like that. But we're gonna see how this rolls out. I think this is gonna be a very interesting rollout, and I'm impressed. I'm really really impressed with how they rolled this out because, man, like this whole thing started. I believe some of those girls started training in 2021, which means they've been training for 4 years, right? And they're able to go back and pull them 3-4 years later and have them in another group. I mean, there's also the thing about contracts too. I don't know how many of you guys know about this, especially with like survival shows or just shows in general. I've got a lot of friends that have been on like American Idol and on like America's Got Talent and all the other stuff like that, or X Factor. And not America's Got Talent, but X Factor, right? And so what they do is they have these contracts where if you get to a certain point in time on the show, is like basically like it's an exclusive contract to the particular record label that is over it. So essentially, you're not allowed to release music on your own. You're not allowed to necessarily sign directly with somebody else unless you give the label the opportunity to sign you first, right? And that's pretty much how most of those contracts are, because what it is it's marketing for their talent. They're literally putting you on TV. They're giving you free promo, and they're basically saying like, "Hey, we can make you a star. We're doing stuff that most people can't even buy to get this type of visibility, this type of emotional connection with an audience. We're doing this for you," right? That's what they're doing. And they literally keep people in contracts for, I've seen like 2 years on these things where you can't release anything yourself, and you've got to give like first right of refusal to the label that actually is affiliated with the show in order for you to actually, release something. It's a possibility that, Emily and Lexie and Samara, it's a possibility that they had a contract that may have been up for renewal, and it was decided at that point in time, like, hey, like, we're going to make a girl group. So we want you to be a part of this girl group. Keep it on the hush, do X, Y, and Z, and then we're going to train and get ready and knock this out. They've already got music released. So whoever they get from Japan is really going to just be like an add-on recording to this. It's not going to be 4 people recording at the same time. It's going to be like an add-on type of thing for the most part. They already know what they're going to do. This is going to be a very interesting rollout with how this whole thing's going to go. And I'm excited to see this because I think we need to see real emotions and real people. especially nowadays when you've got AI bands coming out and cartoons people are falling in love with. So with anything, you guys can comment, subscribe, make sure you like, and come on back because we got more things to talk about. Peace.